This is our Director of Information Security, Dan Marini, and today we're going to play a game of fact or myth about common information or misinformation that you've probably heard about data privacy. So here's the first one. Private browsing, like incognito mode. Does it actually keep me completely anonymous online?
It does not. It's not fully anonymous. It does prevent sites from accessing your regular browsing data, and it's harder to identify you. You won't get all those targeted ads that you get when you do some shopping online or whatnot. When you use incognito mode, the browser creates a temporary browsing session that is separate from the regular browsing session. So once you're done, it will just close that session out, and it doesn't save any of that information for the future. It's important to note that while incognito mode provides some privacy benefits, it does not make you completely anonymous online. Your internet service provider, websites you visit, and other third parties may still be able to track your online activities. Incognito mode does not protect you from malware or secure your connection. It enhances your privacy and security. You'd want to use something more along the lines of a VPN, a virtual private network, or a browser extension that offers more comprehensive privacy features.
Interesting. I don't think a lot of people know that. I think a lot of people think they turn that private mode.
Right, there's a misconception. It's better than not using it, especially in a public computer, if you're in a library or whatnot. But you're better off if you need to do something and remain completely anonymous. You should do it with a VPN.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, next up. If you have a really strong password, like, special characters and a bunch of numbers and uppercase and lowercase, can you use it on several different accounts?
It is not recommended.
Okay.
No matter what happens, it's like if someone still was able to get that password, say you accidentally had it written down or under your keyboard or something, now everybody has access to everything you use that password on.
Right.
It's like one key to the entire house, to every room or the business. Obviously, it's difficult to remember really complex passwords. I would recommend you use something along the lines of a password vault. There are numerous types out there, or even some sort of fingerprint authentication. They have third-party tools that you can use, so you don't have to remember passwords. You don't have to type them.
Yeah, that's really helpful. All right, here's another one. Kind of piggybacking off that, two-factor authentication. Does it actually make your account more secure?
Yes.
Okay.
It is better if you are using a login to any application, whatever, and you have the opportunity to turn on multi-factor authentication, two-factor authentication, you should. Because in the event that the password does get harvested by some outside entity, they would still need that second or third piece of information to be able to log in.
Right.
And so it's an additional speed bump. If you look at it like security is layers of an onion, and you just eliminate another layer, and it just makes you that much more secure. So especially if it's free and it's just an additional tool, it could be an app on your phone that gives you a code, or you get a text message or an email. I mean, there's lots of different ways. If the opportunity is there to use it, you should.
Okay. Yeah, that makes total sense. I think a lot of people shut it off because they think it's annoying. But if it's actually really protecting you that much more, then it's worth the 30 seconds it's going to take you to type in a code.
It's a lot more annoying if something happens to your account. Then you have to close it, and then you have to open new accounts.
That is incredibly true.
And cancel your credit card and all of that other information.
Okay, so how about phishing emails? Are they usually easy to spot because they're full of typos and the logos are wrong? I feel like that's something people hear a lot is, look for typos, look for a mistake in a logo.
Yeah, I would say that's a myth. Years ago, it might have been easier to spot, but with the advent of AI, they're much more professional looking and sounding. So you really still have to use other techniques to pick them out. If an email is asking you to take action on something, or it has a link and an attachment that you weren't expecting, these are all questions you should be asking yourself whenever you get an email. And if you do it enough times, it becomes second nature to you.
Yeah. I got one this morning from Netflix that looked so real. but when I checked the sender, it was from a completely different address, but everything else looked real.
Right.
I didn't click on the link, but I mean the like heading was correct, the fonts were right.
Yeah,
So
and it's
it
very
definitely
easy to do. It's very easy to do today because these people can make imposter websites that look exactly like the real thing.
All right, so here's the last one. Quincy Credit Union will never ask you to send full account number, social security number, or your password through email or text message.
Not only would Quincy Credit Union not ever ask you that, no legitimate financial institution would ever ask you that. First of all, they have your social security number on file when you opened an account. They already know your account number when you opened the account. They issued you an account number. We would never ask you for your password. The only time you would ever be asked for a password is if you chose as a member of the credit union to put a password lock on your account, which means, say you called in to do a transfer and you spoke to somebody in our call center. If there's a note on your account to ask for password, then this would be you proving to us that this is legitimately you and that you want us to do this transaction for you. And if someone called claiming to be you and they didn't know that password, we wouldn't be able to help them. So this is another security feature that some members have been doing, which is, I think it's a great idea because it adds another layer of protection. So if you're coming in and you're going to do a transaction, the teller may ask you what is your key, your password on the account or whatnot, and then they can complete the transaction. Because without it, we won't be able to move forward. So that's the only time. We would never ask you for your login information or anything like that. If you ever received a text from your institution claiming to be your institution, you should call your institution on a good known number, whether it's off of a bank statement, a credit union statement, or from the back of your credit card, and verify, say, I just received this text. I want to make sure if this is legitimate. And they would know if they actually sent that to you or not.
Yeah, those were all really helpful tips. I think, especially right now, there's so much misinformation going on and so many people who claim to be a voice of authority or an expert in the field. And I think that's why it was really important that you came on and did it, because you actually are. So people can actually listen to you and know that it's legitimate advice. If you have any other questions for Dan or for Quincy Credit Union, drop them below.